Think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Throughout human history, as our species has faced the frightening, terrorizing fact that we do not know who we are or where we're going in this ocean of chaos, it has been the authorities, the political, the religious, the educational authorities who attempted to comfort us by giving us order, rules, regulations, forming in our minds their view of reality. To think for yourself, you must question authority and learn how to put yourself in a state of vulnerable, open-mindedness, chaotic, confused vulnerability to inform yourself. Think for yourself, question authority, think for yourself, question authority, think for yourself, question authority, think for yourself.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope. We had quite a busy day today with Nintendo stuff. There was basically like a Nintendo Direct on Twitter today. So it was kind of funny what they did. They did the Direct for Kirby, which was an hour long. I didn't even watch it. It's ridiculous at this point. I might get the game. I might not get the game. I don't know. But I didn't watch that Direct. But I did pay attention to the other stuff that was going on with the announcements. Okay. So before we get into Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Prime Trilogy and other Metroid Prime stuff, there's multiple pieces of Metroid Prime information along with Metroid Prime Remastered, Metroid Prime 2 information, some hints at possibly that thing coming to fruition, and also a lot of Metroid Prime 4 stuff. But yeah, what's up, everybody in the chat? Baracus, Jesse, Smash King, Darth OP, The Link, Tommy Tycoon, Anish, Shinigami. What's up, everybody? So yeah, we'll go over all that stuff, and then at the end we'll have a Q&A like you usually do, okay? And but we have to get over with this information because there's a lot to talk about, and it was kind of interesting actually. And this is all going to be timestamped when we're done, okay? So don't worry if you're coming in late. This will be timestamped, or if you miss it, this will all be timestamped for you so you can easily reference it, okay? But let's go ahead and jump over to my other screen here. Let's see. Yeah. So thanks, shout-outs to Sonic Pulsar for putting this little breakdown here of what happened today on Twitter, or X. Welcome, DRK301. Assassin's Creed Shadows was announced for Switch 2. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition was announced. System Shock Remake. Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader was announced. And they also announced Pokemon Legends breaking sales with 1.5 million physical copies sold in 4 days. And Switch 2, of course, is selling great. Welcome, Kelly. Looks like Shinigami's playing Pokemon right now. Well, good luck, buddy. Hope I don't distract you too much with my stream. Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Shadow. So let's take a look at that really quick. And Nintendo didn't release the trailer in 1080p. Maybe they changed it since it was last uploaded, but it was a release in 720p on Nintendo's YouTube page. But it was released by Ubisoft in 1080p. So we'll take a look at this in 1080p and see what this is all about here. Very short trailer. Yeah, so I already saw this earlier, but people were showing this on Twitter, of course. You can't really see the detail very well. This looks like it's rendered in a lower resolution, not the game, but the actual trailer itself is lower resolution. You can tell, even though it's uploaded in 1080p. The reason why you can tell is because the text is kind of blurry up here. You can a little bit blurry, smudgy. And there's just a lot of artifacts. So like this is probably going to be targeting like 1080p is my guess, kind of like or maybe even 1440p. It doesn't look jaggy at all though. Like it looks very smooth. I don't see any issues with it. It looks just like Assassin's Creed Shadows. So if you recall, we talked about this I think a couple streams ago. Somebody was asking like, hey, do you think Assassin's Creed Shadows will run on the Switch too? I'm like, well, yeah, pretty easily, because this is not even this is not a game like Star Wars Outlaws where they force in ray tracing. So like they can easily just turn ray tracing off and still have it look just as good as a normal game. You won't be able to tell much of a difference for a game like this. A game that is your pre-baked, I've always talked about this. Pre-baked shadows and screen space reflections still look great to this day. It's how you handle the art direction. It's how you make the games look really good. It's not necessarily just using ray tracing, because you can use ray trace, like, you know what I mean? Like you can use ray tracing on all these things and have them look very similar, but they're doing the job automatically. That was like one of the key features that ray tracing would offer developers, was to make development more easy for them, so they wouldn't have to actually design more art for the game, like actually design more shadows, design more predetermined lighting areas to make games look better. Ray tracing would do it all for them. That was the main like magic goal of ray tracing ever since they talked about it. It's going to make development time so much easier, and development easier for games that have graphics like automatically do these effects. Problem is though, we're not there yet, and we're not going to be there yet for ray tracing in that aspect for quite a long time, I would say, for all platforms. So yes, they still need to do a lot of pre-baked shadows and just like regular shadows and screen space reflections for stuff, because quite frankly, hardware these days, even on PC, you're not going to be able to run these games looking with like really clean shadows, really, and without a lot of artifacts and like low resolution stuff with ray tracing, because it's just not there yet. So yeah, it's good that developers are still making games that have that option. They really should not be locking out games from having standard shadows and reflections. They shouldn't be forcing in ray tracing. They need to wait some time still. But yeah, this looks like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Here's Assassin's Creed Shadows from their PC or whatever PlayStation version. And they don't like, it's the same type of stuff. They don't really show the same like gameplay areas, but like if you see here, even this trailer is not very like super high resolution, even though it's output at 1080p. Like the way Ubisoft does their trailers is very blurry. Even this is their actual one from the game. It's not Switch 2. This is like PC or a PlayStation. But yeah, the game looks actually a lot better than this when you actually play it. Their way they do their trailers is just not that great. I don't own the game. I haven't played the game. I wasn't really interested in it, but I would be more interested in this, than I would be actually than Star Wars Outlaws, because the gameplay is more to my liking. That type of gameplay. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Ray tracing is good at speed of development, but it's not good for performance. And as we've seen with Unreal Engine 5, it's really not good for performance to force in ray tracing, or to have certain games like Star Wars Outlaws seem to work really well on Switch 2, but again, that's not Unreal Engine 5. And also Doom the Dark Ages forces in ray tracing as well, and that hurts performance and that's id Tech. So I really think developers need to calm down with the ray tracing. Still give it an option, but like I would never want to force it in at this point. You want more people to have the opportunity to play your game than not play it or have a poor experience. But yeah, that's like the PC version, and here's the Switch 2 version. I mean, it's the same. It looks pretty much the same to me. You're probably not going to have. They're probably going to have like ray tracing turned off, but like, and no one's gonna care about that. Yeah, I saw some of the screenshots. They don't really look any different really. They're not really their high resolution, so I'm not going to bother even looking at those here. But yeah, this looks like a good port. I don't see anything wrong with it. And if you're into this game, obviously I'm going to be playing Metroid Prime 4 on December 4th. So, there is a demo actually of Star Wars Outlaws they just released. So yeah, that's nice. You can try that out. And maybe they'll release a demo of this as well if you're kind of not sure if this is the kind of game for you. You can try this out maybe. This is going to be a full price game though, this port. So it's not going to be like a discounted price. It's going to be $60. So yeah, but it's still technically a new game because it just came out like 8 months ago, I think, right? Something like that. I think it came, or did it come out late 2024? I don't remember when it came out, the exact release date. March 20th, 2025. Yeah, it came out this year, right? Yeah. So yeah, it came out this year, so this is still a new game. This is not like an old port. This is still a new game, I would say. So yeah. I did hear good things about this game. I wasn't interested in picking up the game though at launch because it's Ubisoft and you never know with Ubisoft. But I did hear some good things about it. And with always these games, there's a controversy about whatever like agenda the developers are pushing. I don't really care about that. I mainly care about if it's a really good game. Now, of course, if the agenda is like way in your face and super political, then yeah, I'm not going to be interested in playing that because you want to escape that type of stuff. That's what gaming's all about. This game seems more like just like a fictional, like a what if scenario kind of thing, and I don't really see anything wrong with it. So, but yeah, not Star Wars. Assassin's Creed. And then we had Fallout announced. Fallout 4.
Heads up.
Real quick teaser. Yeah. Base game is included 6 official expansions, 150 creation club items coming in 2026. Yeah, this is a 10-year-old game, so I'm not really impressed by this announcement, but the anniversary edition I do believe is based on the remaster. It's not based on the actual original release. This is running at 60 frames per second too, by the way. I could tell, but I don't know if this is really the Switch 2 version. It should be. You would think they would show the Switch 2 version when they show this stuff, so I don't know. This is very likely based on the recent remaster that they did. It's probably going to be running like at 1440p or something like that. Who knows? But I never actually played this game. I was never interested in playing it when it came out in 2015. I've never been really into Fallout, so I don't know if I'll be interested in playing this, to be honest with you. You know, I'm one of those guys where if I'm not interested in playing the game when it was first released, I might not be interested in playing it when it's released on Switch 2. You know what I mean? Like, just because something comes to Switch 2 doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to want to play it. But like for the technical aspect of some of these ports, that would be one reason why I would want to play some of these Switch 2 ports, because of the technical comparisons, because I'm a content creator. Welcome, Fat Cheek Baby. Yeah, that dog, right? There he is. I couldn't be bothered to beat it for some reason. Love Fallout 3 though. Yeah, you see, I never really got into these games. If you know my playstyle, I'm really into games that are really engaging. Like, I want to be busy, like, you know, doing things and like doing like intricate combat moves and things like that, or fast-paced shooting. And granted, and not every game I play is like that, but I can't just get into these types of games without having some kind of hook to get me going with it, with the gameplay. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know about that. See, like we said, System Shock remake was announced. I'm not really interested in those games. I'm pretty sure that was gonna run on Switch 2, no problem. Warhammer, not interested in that series. Never have been. But yes, these were the announcements today for the Nintendo Direct on Twitter. Patty 1975, welcome. Yeah, guys, we got almost 100 people in the stream so far. Let's get that like button up for me. Please do hit that like button. Let's get it up there. Let's get it over 50 likes right now and keep going. We're going to get into Metroid information. Oh, yeah, that's right. They delayed Elden Ring for performance improvements, which is good. They should do that. Let's see. And we talked about that earlier today. Yeah, From Software has delayed Elden Ring Tarnished Edition for Switch 2 until 2026. The team says more time is needed so they can work on performance, so it will be the best possible state for launch. Yeah, I said it. I think it's a good move. And it shows that they're taking the feedback to heart. So like some people were saying when they played the test version of it, or the play test of it, that the game was stuttering a lot in the frame rate. But recent builds of the game were in fact improved quite a bit. The frame rate seemed to be ironed out for the most part, but I think there still was some drops here and there. But it's good that they want to make it probably a locked 30 frames. Like, they don't have to worry about any more frame drops, basically. Like, the game really shouldn't be dropping frames on Switch 2. The game came out on PS4. So yeah, this Switch 2 is quite a bit more powerful than PS4. From Software is not a very good developer in terms of optimization for consoles or for PC. It's well known. So them actually going out of their way and delaying it for better performance is a good sign that they're taking it seriously and they want this game to sell well. And this is a huge game. Like Elden Ring, make no mistake, is one of the biggest games of all time. Like it's the biggest Souls-like game that there is. If you can just call it a Souls game, basically. It's basically like Dark Souls 4, with some variations to the gameplay. But it's basically Dark Souls 4 in a like light world with a horse, if you want to call it that. But it's very, very similar to a Dark Souls game, Bloodborne, that type of stuff. It's not a Sekiro. It's not a super crazy action game either. So yeah, but this is a game that brought the masses to Souls likes or Souls games. So yeah, it's a huge game. They don't want to get this wrong. So yeah, definitely a game that they want to make sure is running really well on Switch 2, and it looks like they're going to do that. Yeah, exactly, Elias. They're not praised for performance. Yeah, or optimization. They're praised for their gameplay and their level design and their boss designs. That's what From Software is really, really well known for. Yep. Keep hitting that like button, guys. Let's get it up there. Thanks for coming out. Okay. Now, before we get into Metroid Prime 4, there's Metroid Prime Remastered and Metroid Prime 2 information to talk about. Save your questions for the Q&A, Nicholas. Thanks for coming, by the way. We'll get to the Q&A after we cover the Metroid Prime stuff. But I definitely want to talk about the announcements today that happened that were not expected. Okay? So that was interesting. Okay, so Metroid Prime Metroid Prime Trilogy is getting I want to talk about this. It's getting the visual retrospective book. It's going to be released at the end of October. I think it's October 29th or so. One of the last days of October, basically. And some information has been gleaned from this book ahead of time from some of these websites like IGN, as they have, I guess, have got like a advanced look at what some of the things the book is saying. So, for Metroid Prime Remastered, apparently Retro Studios wanted to have new cutscenes for Metroid Prime Remastered, the one that came out on Switch back in February 2023. We played live on the channel multiple times. But Nintendo decided against it. So they said that Retro Studios actually wanted to pursue for the Nintendo Switch release. Nintendo ultimately vetoed the idea. Tanabe, the game's producer, explained that cutscenes are not created solely for dramatic effect. They also played a role in conveying gameplay relevant information to the player. Let's turn our Metroid music on. Close that. And I agree, by the way, with that. As he said, in regards to that, Metroid Prime 1 through 3 visual retrospective book, he says, when the project first started, Retro purposed an idea regarding cutscenes that we create entirely new ones. And the prototype cutscene that they presented was undeniably impressive with a high quality. However, I came to the decision to closely observe the cutscenes from the GameCube version and replicate them essentially as they were. The reason for this choice was that the cutscenes are not created solely for dramatic effect. They also played a role in conveying gameplay relevant information to the player. Each scene was carefully crafted with that purpose in mind. Retro demonstrated exceptional professionalism and fully adhere to this direction. Yeah, it sounds like full motion video cutscenes, right? Entirely new ones. Prototype cutscene they presented was undeniably impressive with high level of quality. Yeah, probably they wanted to have like a big like bang and showing like re-showing this game for the first time is my guess. With Metroid Prime Remastered, obviously they couldn't do that with the GameCube. If you recall, the GameCube had those smaller sized mini DVD discs, which would hold 1.5 gigabytes of storage on each disc. So if they could get away with doing real-time cutscenes, that's what Nintendo would do on the GameCube. And pre-rendered cutscenes would have more like visual artifacts in them. And most Nintendo games never didn't really use those unless they were really short. I know like Mario Party and like Mario Strikers, like those games, they would use like pre-rendered cutscenes. There were some pre-rendered cutscenes or like, menus basically, like in Metroid Prime 2. Like this background I have was actually like was all done pre-rendered on GameCube and Metroid Prime 2. This is from Metroid Prime 2. I have it like continuously animated here in the background. Pretty cool. But yeah, like I've never been a huge fan of having pre-rendered cutscenes like too much in games, because it takes away from the actual like key like art design that they use for the games themselves. Like if you see the cutscene that's using the game engine itself, I think that's the best way to do it, because then you can easily transition into the gameplay without being so contrasty in terms of like, oh, I was expecting the game to look like something else and now it looks like this because the cutscene looked like something completely different. And I think that's probably what they were thinking here with this remaster, was that they didn't want to take away from the actual visual design and quality of the game itself by putting too much of a bombastic, crazy pre-rendered cutscene at the beginning of the game. Makes sense to me. So that's one part that was revealed from the previous history of Metroid Prime Remastered and Metroid Prime the original from the retrospective book. Also, they talked about the development of Metroid Prime. This also comes from that visual retrospective. Metroid Prime producer says the game could be called a miracle and talks about clashes between Nintendo and retro. I believe in my review of Metroid Prime Remastered here on the channel back in 2023, I talked about this, that there was kind of some arguing going on between Miyamoto and the developers. Not arguing, but more so like differences of opinion as to where the game should go. And Miyamoto was the one who decided for it to be first person, and then they kind of like pushed the game in that direction. So, series producer Tanabe recently opened up a game. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me see what they say here. As you previously heard, Retro Studios was initially working on several games that were mostly scrapped. I remember that. They had Raven Blade. I remember Raven Blade. Some trailers of that game. That game was scrapped. The company shifted all its focus into creating a Metroid game following a visit from Shigeru Miyamoto. Metroid Prime was not a project. Here's what Tanabe says. Metroid Prime was not a project that was originally planned. It was a title that came about by chance as a result of Mr. Miyamoto clarifying the direction Retro Studios should take. In a way, it could be called a miracle. Let's see what else they say here. Nintendo retained the final decision-making authority. There were many instances early on where our approaches to the specifications did not align, leading to disagreements. Often Retro often explained, this is how Western studios approach and think about game development. To help them understand our perspective, I told them, yes, but the game we are making now is a Nintendo game, and this is Retro's first time working on one. I've been working on Nintendo games my whole career, so I believe I have the most experience in making Nintendo games, so please trust me first. I'm assuming that's what Miyamoto said, right? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that Miyamoto should know about Nintendo IP more than Retro Studios would. Tanabe also mentioned that Nintendo developers have learned from Miyamoto that the appearance of enemy characters should be designed based on functionality. However, it had not yet been articulated quite so concisely, and it took time for us to convey the concept clearly to Retro. Okay. There are still clashes between Nintendo and Retro. Tanabe mentioned one instance involving a Ridley battle in which the two sides couldn't find common ground. While the meeting started in the morning, things dragged on, and when it was over, the sun was setting. Wow. One idea that Retro did push across was for the morph ball rolling, which changes the perspective to third person from first person. According to Tanabe, Retro purposed the animation transition here, but while the team also brought up a skip feature to reduce the time it takes to morph. Miyamoto directed that it should be unskippable, as it was one of the opportunities to view Samus in third person. Yep, I agree with that. So first person was Miyamoto, third person, brief animations to third person was also Miyamoto. So it's not specifically said here, but it sounds like what they were getting at is that Retro Studio was making a game for Nintendo that quite possibly was not actually supposed to be Metroid Prime. It sounds like they may have been making a first-person shooter type of adventure game, similar to Turok 2 and Turok 1. Because you may or may not know this, if you watch my Turok 2 live stream, Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, from the beginning of 2024, we went over a little bit of a history of Turok 2, and the founder of Retro Studios was also the founder of Iguana Entertainment, who left and formed Retro Studios, and a lot of the same developers that made Turok 2 developed Metroid Prime when they joined Nintendo. If you didn't know that, that's a fact. So they probably wanted to make something really cool that was a first-person type of adventure, from what I'm getting at here. And likely Miyamoto said, or someone said that, hey, this should be something with Samus, and it seems like something Samus could explore in. That sounds like what they're getting at here. It didn't really say exactly, though. So it says here, Metroid Prime was not a project that was originally planned. It was a title that came about by chance as a result of Mr. Miyamoto clarifying the direction Retro Studios should take. In a way, it could be called a miracle. I don't really think it was a miracle for the gameplay. Maybe for the fact of it starring Samus, maybe that was the key deciding factor here. But like they already made games that were like Metroid Prime with Turok 2, especially. If you play through Turok 2 and go through like especially level 5, where you're in that futuristic world or futuristic like hive area, it's very Metroid Prime like. But the entire game has like a Metroid Prime kind of feel to it. Like the way you jump, the way you are is kind of a little more slower moving. The way the puzzles are designed, very, very Metroid Prime-like. And rightfully so, because of the developers who made the game. Were some of the same people who made Metroid Prime. Yeah, Jeff Spangenberg. Yeah, exactly. He's the founder. So no, I don't think the game was a miracle. Probably just mainly because Miyamoto likely suggested they use Samus as the main character, which made it a Metroid Prime game at that point, or Metroid game. But they already had experience in making these types of games before Metroid Prime. But yeah, I thought this is really interesting, a little interesting tidbit about Metroid Prime Remastered, or Metroid Prime in general too. Some a little bit extras about the development. We kind of had an idea about this before, but the Meta Ridley battle, I don't remember them. I don't remember that one too much. Hearing about that too much, and the cutscene stuff. All right, now there's actually some new information regarding if you're a rewards member, or if you have a Switch Online membership. My Nintendo Store added a new Metroid reward for Switch Online members. Get it while you can. And this is actually a real physical reward. You can actually order this and get it shipped to you. So what this is, it's a metal display only for Nintendo Switch Online members. They're offering a special Metroid desktop metal display based on the original NES release. It's exclusive to Switch Online members in the US right now. 1,000 platinum points. Shipping fees apply. Available while supplies last. So I guess this is like just like some kind of like, yeah, just a metal like display. You know, kind of cool. I don't know if I would really get this myself, but if you're so inclined, feel free to get it. 5x7. It's like a portrait, kind of like. Display your passion for the iconic Metroid game with this exclusive metal desktop display available to anyone who with a paid Nintendo Switch Online membership, featuring a classic NES package art and a metal panel. This piece rests on a sleek black acrylic base etched with the My Nintendo logo. It's a stylish and nostalgic tribute for any fan or collector who's ventured through Zebes and faced the space pirates. This product comes with a protective film on both sides. If you find the film is old or stubborn, gently warm it with a hair dryer to loosen the adhesive and carefully peel it off. Please avoid overheating the metal surface. Also be aware the panel edges may be sharp. Handle with care. You would want that display, okay? You don't have enough points. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I have points either, actually. I'm a member as well. I'll have to check. This is definitely a cool, like, nostalgic trinket for Metroid fans. Okay. Metroid Prime 2. We're moving on, okay? Move on to Metroid Prime 2 information. This is kind of weird. I don't really like this title that that Nintendo Life used here because I didn't really read it this way. So, Metroid Prime 1 through 3 art book somehow teases and debunks an Echoes remake. No, I don't think so, but we'll see what it says here. Fans have been speculating about the prospect of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes remaster/remake for quite some time now. And interestingly, the book actually somehow teases and debunks such a concept in one go. The following quote from Tanabe regarding Echoes multiplayer mode seemingly confirms that a remake isn't in development. I don't know how, but nor is it currently being planned, but at the same time it kind of reads like a bit of a tease, right? You have to one thing I got to say about this, guys, is that the visual retrospective, this book, you realize this was announced last year, right? I'm pretty sure this was announced in 2024, right? I could be wrong. So whatever like stuff they talked about in this book is probably old information. So either way, retrospective. When was it announced? Yeah, it was announced. It was announced November 25th, 2024. So this stuff was all like done already a long time ago. This is not like brand new information that they just announced. They're just like talking about today. This information's old. Okay. That being said, here's what they said in the book about that. This is from Tanabe. He says Retro completed the multiplayer mode regarding Metroid Prime 2 without compromising on quality, even under such challenging conditions. Being of its time, it was designed for local play, so the number of players who actually experienced it might not have been very large. If it is remade, I would be delighted for more people to have the chance to experience it. This is not a debunking of it whatsoever. A lot of times, developers and producers will say stuff like this with knowing full well that something's already being done in that aspect. Oh, welcome, Tony. Yeah, no worries, buddy. So take this for what you will. Like, he's obviously like, this isn't a hint, really. This is also not a debunking. This is just him saying like it. Yeah, if it's remade, he would be delighted for more people to have a chance to experience it. To me, actually, now that I'm reading this again, I think this is more of a hint that it is coming. And the reason why I think that, because he's talking about he wants more people to have a chance to experience it. Well, the only way you can have more people to experience it is if you re-release the game. So, yeah, I would say, it's, even if it's not taken as a hint, him saying out loud, like purposely, that he would be delighted for more people to experience the multiplayer mode in Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, you could almost take that as a tease that maybe they are going to release it, right? But they honestly, like we talked about before, guys, they really should be releasing these anyway before the 4th game comes out. And as we saw today, Nintendo can still shadow drop stuff, can shadow drop announcements on a whim. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Fallout 4, System Shock 2, Warhammer 40,000. All 4 of those games were announced for Switch 2 today. And they're coming out in like a month and a couple weeks or so. And some are coming out in 2026. So yes, Nintendo definitely can still shadow drop these games before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. Probably, a good time to do that would be if they announce a Nintendo Direct that focuses on Metroid Prime 4. Hint, hint, hopefully, maybe. They should be doing that, you would think. People are saying online they're not expecting a Metroid Prime 4 Direct at this point. Either way, they could easily just drop these games and say, hey, experience Metroid Prime Remastered, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, and Metroid Prime 3 now available on Switch 1 and Switch 2 before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. They could easily do that, and nobody would be batting an eye at that, really, because it would make perfect sense, and probably there'll be a discounted price. Again, though, there's no way at this point that we can confirm that's happening. Nintendo hasn't said so, but any little hint or any kind of like mention of Metroid Prime 2 and the developer of the game, producer of the game, who's also producing Metroid Prime 4, when they talk about how they would love to have more people experience it, it seems like a no-brainer that they should be releasing these games again. Having just 1 and then having 4 makes no sense to not have 2 and 3. And not just on GameCube NSO, because you got to have 3 is a Wii game. So I would say re-release them, make them in HD at the very least, even if it's not too many extra textures or something like that. But yeah, you got to re-release these games. You just got to. It's your big disservice to the entire franchise, I would say, if you release the first game and then not the second game and the third game, and just go right to 4. Even though it does appear, and we're going to talk about it here in a second, that Metroid Prime 4, the story of it does seem to be very, from what I can glean from the potential spoilers of Metroid Prime 4, it does appear to be a completely standalone story. Maybe. We just don't know yet. We haven't played the game yet. We can't see the connections yet to Prime 1 through 3, but I'm thinking there will be some connections. But we'll talk about that. So, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, is everybody here? Are you ready to get into the Metroid Prime 4 stuff? All right. We got almost 120 people watching. We don't have 100 likes yet. Come on, hit the like button, guys. Are you excited for Metroid Prime 4? We're going to be talking in depth about new information for Metroid Prime 4 momentarily, okay? So if you're excited for Metroid Prime 4, new information, please hit that like button for me. Do me a huge favor. That's the only type of support I ask for, is just hitting the like button. And then we can dive deep into this new information for Metroid Prime 4. But I want to warn you, okay? Want to warn you. This might be potential spoilers, okay? So if you don't want to be spoiled on anything for Metroid Prime 4, and I mean anything, if you don't want to see any different boss fights or new bosses, because one is going to be shown here that we're going to see, not two, but one. One of them was already shown in the previous Nintendo Direct. Also, there is a new article from Nintendo Dream magazine from Japan that was translated by Shine Spark, the website. We're going to go over that as well, and that could also be potential story spoilers, okay? Slightly. I don't personally think that these are strong spoilers that's going to ruin the game for the story aspect. I do think, though, what we're going to go over here, the story aspect that is hinted at here from Nintendo Dream magazine, I do think this could actually help sell the game to people who are interested in the story aspect of this game. I do think that this could be a selling factor, because you can give away certain story aspects to a game without it spoiling the entire story. Okay? So I do think that's what is that they're doing here. So I don't think most of you guys have anything to worry about here. There is one little boss that that Nintendo has shown in a new commercial, okay? That was in an unlisted video. So if you don't want to see that little boss, then, I'm warning you now. So you're unsure about the legitimacy of the article here, mixing about Necro Felipe? Well, Nintendo Dream comes from Japan, though. Necro Felipe, I believe, isn't he from Brazil? So you might want to explain what you mean about that. Now, it's possible the translation could be a little off, but at the very least, we do have some new scans to look at from the magazine, and it's possible we can glean some information about that, even if the translation is incorrect from Japanese. Either way, I think it's some very interesting information. So, are you ready? Switch 2 has some new commercials that were leaked or released pretty much unlisted. Somebody found them. Most likely, it would say it is leaked by someone who probably works at Nintendo or knows their YouTube pages or how to access unlisted videos, who got these released, or someone just dug through the site and was able to find it that way, like in their JavaScript or HTML script. Probably it's probably what it was. Either way, yeah. Power up your holidays. Let's take a look at this. That's it. Okay. All right, so yeah, this boss right here was shown in the March Nintendo Direct for Metroid Prime 4. It was very, very brief. This is a little bit more detail here. It looks like you locking on to a tentacle. That looks very much how you would expect a Metroid Prime boss to look, and to like, you're always going to be shooting basically like points on these types of bosses, like right here and right here. Very similar to the plant boss in Metroid Prime 1. Yep, exactly. So, purple beam. So, is that going to be this a psychic ability enhanced beam, or is that just because it doesn't look like the wave beam, right? Because we know Samus's psychic abilities are purple. It doesn't seem to be using ray tracing. Yeah, I wouldn't think it would. This is a game that definitely does not need ray tracing to look really really good. So it looks like the boss name is Carvex, right? Hmm. Do we have a close up of the area here? Yeah. I'm really liking this art design of this area here. This is really cool. That is really cool here. The doors and how the like the surrounding area is designed. I really like that. So remember, just adding ray tracing to stuff doesn't give you an amazing art design. Amazing art design comes from having amazing artists. People have to design this stuff. It's actually design these little things on like in these bosses on their skin and how the walls look and everything. Having high quality lighting definitely helps. And this game already does have high quality lighting, but ray tracing, you don't need it. You really don't need it. Carvex. Now you're power up your play, right? So that now you're playing with power. I'm telling you, man, this console reminds me of it reminds me of the Super Nintendo. It really does. It's like an NES but better. But better controller, better graphics, same type of idea, but just a lot better. That's what the Switch 2 reminds me of. I do think the Super Nintendo, yeah, the Super Nintendo had the controller was a little bit more advanced as far as the upgrade was concerned versus the NES, of course, with two buttons and a D-pad. But like, definitely Switch 2 has that Super Nintendo type of feel. Not really the GameCube, more so Super Nintendo. There is some slight similarities of GameCube in terms of like storage size stuff, but like not really because they have that figured out. You just have to purchase the extra storage. Okay. So that's that trailer. And there's another trailer they have as well. Let's take a look at that in regular time. These are only uploaded in 30 frames per second, 1080p, so. Yeah. So there's your big spoiler. That's your spoiler of this boss. This is nothing new here. They don't show anything new. This is not new. We've seen this pretty much that area before. The only new part they show is this boss. Zelus? Zelus? I can't tell. Yeah, same guy. I really like this right here. Trying to see anything going on with this. So it looks like he is trying to shoot part of his internals out at Samus. Yeah. Welcome everybody. If I haven't said hi to you, I'll get to everyone's questions at the end. We're going over this kind of in depth here. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, Darthro P. This looks a lot like Metroid Prime 3 type of like sub boss. Yeah, Helios. Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks like that, but also, yeah, the Phazon spheres, exactly. Huh. So Phazon is blue though. This is definitely not blue. It's green. So it seems like they are definitely avoiding using the color blue for energy discharges in this game. Likely because I think blue would represent Phazon. So this what like this is just looks like energy like electricity, green electricity. And then you have purple, which is going to be psychic abilities. We shall see about if any kind of blue energy is revealed, because if they show any blue energy, if they show blue like glowing rocks or something like that, that could be Phazon. So we should watch out for that if there's anything like that in this game. And, of course, we know that Phazon is gone because the planet Phase was destroyed, right? So we don't know. Zelios is a pronunciation? No, thanks, buddy. Okay, so what's this? It looks running low on missiles. Big threat. And looks like we have a possibly an E here. Is that an injury tank? No, that's not an E. Okay, that was how the trailer's so low resolution. That's just something else. I guess that's just the boss or the door. Maybe the door. I'm just guessing here, guys. Trying to make sense of this stuff. So that's the door right here. I'm assuming that's the door. Yeah, shows you where to download the lyrics. That's a good one. That would be funny, but yeah, I don't think that it looked like that for a second. It looked like that for a second because the trailer has all these artifacts in it for the low resolution. Yep, right there. Isn't that funny? Look at that. It does look like an E right there. That is funny. Internet Explorer. What is this? Huh. I don't know. They got some weird stuff going on in this trailer. So yeah, like if you feel like you're spoiled by seeing a boss like that in a Metroid Prime game, I would say this is very I hate to use this word, but I would say that's kind of a generic Metroid Prime boss. It's a very safe one to show. So that's fine. I would expect. Welcome, Olivia. I would expect bosses like this. Now, obviously, I would hope that not. I would hope you don't fight a lot of bosses like this. They're all the same, like, balls. But basically, you're fighting against Luke Skywalker's training, lightsaber training probe. That's what this is. But yeah, this is very typical type of Metroid Prime type of boss. I would not really consider this much of a spoiler whatsoever. And this would be a good way to show off the game. The types of just the types of effects you will see in the game without spoiling too much of what some crazy boss could be. Okay? But yeah, like they're showing this stuff we've seen already. It's a different part, but it's the same area. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing something a little different, but it's the same area. Trying to see if there's anything different here to notice. Not really. It's a very low resolution trailer. We've seen this a million times. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a mini boss. It certainly doesn't look like a boss that is like a big main boss. It doesn't look like that really to me. This does look like a mini boss to me, like a mini boss type of feel. I am noticing some of this stuff on the walls, though. That's kind of cool. Maybe you can jump on that. This stuff. Like almost like a padding or goop. I'm curious if you'll be able to do like certain types of wall jumps based on the texture or the substances on the walls even. I don't know. We'll see. That's always something to consider in a Metroid Prime game. Cool. All right. All right. Now remember, these trailers are unlisted by Nintendo. So that could mean that Nintendo was planning to have these commercials play in the next few weeks, next month, leading up to the holiday, right? Feels like a sub boss like Guardians from Prime 2. Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Use grapple parts of the wall like in Dread. True. It's so hard to tell though, because it's just so little. There's not much to see. But yeah, all this type of lighting though, you can tell that this is like lit up in the back by the door. All these things need to be designed by artists to make them look this good. If you're not using ray tracing, like automatic effects, and even then, the funny thing about ray tracing is with lighting is that it doesn't always give you the intended effect that you want, because these are video games, they're fantasy. So if you're creating a very beautiful area and you want certain aspects to light up, if you just put a real light in there, it may not give you the desired effect, because the light is like, it just doesn't look good for whatever reason. Like a real light, you want to have actual fantasy light to make it look how you want it to look. That's what a painting or like an artist would do. So I do think it lends itself better for artists to make a game like Metroid Prime, because you have this like sci-fi outwardly, world that you can just go ham with all the particle effects and like different types of lighting and different colors, light shafts, like god rays coming through the walls, and ray tracing could also do that. But you don't have to do that. You can draw it in literally, or just make a one little light source do the same thing. You don't need to have ray tracing for that kind of stuff. That's the big advantage of having amazing artists on your team. They're like volumetric lighting effects kind of light up this boss's inner shell there. See that? How it like lights out like little god rays? Those all need to be animated though. I don't think this is not like real time lighting. I think this is literally just post-processing effects that makes it look like lighting. But again, does anybody care about whether or not it's real lighting or fake lighting post-processing? No. All they care about is like, wow, this looks awesome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Metroid Prime 2, incredible design. Like the layers upon layers upon layers of actual design within the design of the walls, like Sanctuary Fortress, for example. Whew, buddy, amazing stuff. Okay. All right, we're almost to 100 likes. Can we get to 100 likes, guys? Just 9 likes away. We're about to get into some story details of Metroid Prime 4, okay? It could be considered spoilers. I don't think so, though. Like I said so earlier, I think this could actually be used to help sell the game to people who are interested in, like, what is the big, like, focus of this story for Samus? Like, what is the possible danger or connection she has to Sylux even? Okay? All right, so let's do this. You've been warned, so here we go. Nintendo Dream Magazine shares Metroid Prime 4 beyond details. Spoiler, possibly. Spoiler warning. Now, again, I think Surplex77 said that this might be mistranslated. You never know, but like, it might give us a good idea. We'll see. The newest issue of Nintendo Dream, the official magazine in Japan, has shared new details about Metroid Prime 4. Be warned, there are potential spoilers, so you may want to skip the rest of this post if you're trying to go into the game blind. Like I said, though, you can give a little hint about the story without spoiling the whole thing. I don't think this is that big of a deal. It makes me interested, though, for sure. Okay, the article says that Vuros has 3 diverse biomes, a forest, a desert, and a polar region, which was, by the way, already shown in the last trailer. So you saw the ice, you saw the desert, you saw the forest. But obviously there's caves, because we saw caves in the trailer. So yeah. They may just be mentioning forest, desert, and polar region as some of the areas, maybe not all, because we've already seen more. But 3 diverse biomes could mean multifaceted types of levels and layers to these, which could also include caves and rivers and certain like water regions within them as well. So we don't know for sure. We'll have to wait and see. The Viola bike has multiple offensive options. Again, we've seen this in the trailer. Very, very briefly though. Including a spinning energy attack, speed boost, barrier shield, and projection trail that leaves an echo of confusion to enemies. So that's new. We didn't know the outcome of that. But we need to see it in action, though. You might see some of it here in the scans. The article suggests that Samus's new psychic abilities will have an impact on her body and mind. The article reveals a new character whose name... Oh yeah, this is new. Whose name was translated by Universal Nintendo as Ias Raxus. Again, we don't know 100% if the translations are accurate. We're taking it as it comes. This creature is a guardian of Viros and can either become your enemy or ally. New renders of Silex and the Lemorn creature are included, with the suggestion that the Lemorn know the origins of the psychic abilities, figured as much, but may or may not be an ally. It reveals that Silex has a mental connection with Samus, though his true intentions are unknown. Most shockingly, the article potentially gives away his true origins. Not 100%, but potentially gives away his true origins as a failed attempt from an ancient Federation experiments to replicate Samus's abilities. I think that's a good. I think that's a good story like lead-in. I don't really think that's a spoiler. I think that's, if that is true, that would be a good like hook to get you like interested in like what the outcome of this is going to be. Like if Silex is actually the outcome of an experiment from the Federation to make someone who's more like Samus, to have another Samus, I think that could be a really cool story development, with the mental connection with Samus possibly being all the times that Samus has been, like physically connected to the Federation being worked on with their suit and everything. They probably has some genetic material that is left over from Samus that they have programmed in the computer. Who knows? I'm just guessing. It's sci-fi we're talking about here. Sci-fi can go all kinds of directions with having mental connections by using computers. Okay. If you ever watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, any Star Trek or other sci-fi show, you'd know that they could easily explain this with a variety of ways by using the Federation technology. Okay? All right. Lastly, the 3 amiibo are said to be compatible with the in-game gallery mode and future updates to the Metroid Prime series. Oh. What that means is unclear. We'll get our own translations article as soon as we can. For now, you can read a Spanish translation link below. So yeah, so this is translated from Japanese, then to Spanish, and then from Spanish to English. So yeah, take that for what you will. There might be some misinterpretations here we don't know about. Let me go back to their main site, see if they have any updates here. No, they didn't update themselves. So future updates to the Metroid Prime series could mean that maybe, again, we're reaching here. We have to though. Maybe you could use some of these amiibo for costume unlocks for like Metroid Prime 2 Remastered, Metroid Prime 3 Remastered, Metroid Prime 1 Remastered, an update for the Switch 2 version. Maybe if you use your amiibo, you can unlock the new suit that Samus has, and you could play with it in the game, just as a cosmetic thing. Who knows? We already assumed that was going to be a thing anyway in Metroid Prime 4, so it's definitely possible. All right. Let's take a look at these scans here. See if I can glean anything different here. This is kind of all from the trailer. We've seen this. Seen that from the trailer. Yeah, this is new right here, but I'm pretty sure, guys, that we've seen this in the trailer. Let me see something here. Okay. Take a look at this again. Then we'll compare with the scan. I'm definitely on board with the bike more so now. I mean, I was not really against it in the first place. I just was confused when I first saw this thing. Okay. Let's take a look at this really quick. Let's take a look at it really quick, really slowly. Yeah. So that right here, I believe, is that's in the trailer, right? Trying to see what else. These are cool. Papa Wheelie. All right. So was that? Yeah, it looks like you're shooting out some of the psychic ability stuff on the creatures or enemies, and they can get blown up if you shoot them enough. I believe that's that right here. Spring energy attack, speed boost, barrier shield, and projection trail leaves an echo to confuse enemies. Okay. I don't think that was it. I don't. They may not show it here. The echo to confuse enemies. No, that's like a projectile. So yeah, I guess they don't really show it here. As far as I can tell, there's no echo to confuse enemies. Either she shoots this like disc right here. You can kind of like spawn like little energy discs. You're cool with the N64 style desert? Yeah, I don't recall N64 deserts looking quite like that. But yeah. Yeah, this is cool. This is in slow motion. Gotta love that. Good stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I think in this Leaves an echo to confuse enemies. I think that's something we haven't seen yet, if this is true. Okay. Now we have this down here. Looks like the grapple beam. This is a new shot of the grapple beam down here. That looks really cool. But yeah, nothing really too new besides I think this one right here. This might have actually been shown in the trailer too, though. Let's take another look. Because I did show something like really quick. Let's see. Okay, snow level. It's nice that this is in 4K. Oh yeah, they did show this. Okay. Isn't that cool? So if you don't know how to do the one step at a time on YouTube, it's the period key or the comma key, forward and backwards. The light. New character illustration. Yeah, I didn't see any. Oh, down here. Shh. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, okay, yeah, there is some new stuff. That's right. I forgot there was another picture down there below it. Okay, I think that's it. There's just 2 main scans. All right. Thank you for that. Okay, this was in the trailers. Yeah, some new art. Yeah, for Silux. This is one of the bosses in the first area of the game. This is one of the Lamorn, I believe. Yeah, this is one of the like probably like the main like girl Lamorn is my guess. It looks like a girl to me. Yeah, the legs. That's a cool design. Looks very sci-fi-y, like not Star. This doesn't look like Star Trek type of art style. This looks more like Star Wars art style to me, like one of those alien creatures you would see in the Star Wars prequel movies. But no one complained about Star Wars art design and for the George Lucas movies. They looked really good. No one's going to lament the Lamorn. Lament the Lamorn. Say that 5 times fast. All right, so yeah, down here they show the Nintendo DS where they first showed Silux. You guys ever play Metroid Prime Hunters on the Nintendo DS? You could actually play as Silux back then. But yeah, that would be a perfect way to have a multiplayer mode introduced for Metroid Prime 4 if they update it later. Which they definitely could. They just updated Pikmin 4, what was it, earlier today with new modes. They definitely could actually update the game with a multiplayer mode if they so wanted to. These games can be updated in that way, or they could release another Metroid Prime Hunters with Silux as a protagonist even, or a protagonist choice. It's interesting though, in my opinion, I don't know if this information really paints Silux in a bad light necessarily. Like when you think about Silux and like if he is a failed attempt from ancient Federation experiments to replicate Samus's abilities, then he may just be like any other well-written villain, have his own motivations and goals in mind, and his mission may feel like he's doing the right thing because his view of Samus and his view of the Federation may in fact be that they are all like part of a corrupt system. Because if you remember the story aspects of Metroid Prime 3, Metroid Other M, Metroid Federation Force, there is definitely some strong Metroid Fusion, definitely some strong hints and indications of corruption in the government, that the Federation was using these the Metroids and experimenting on things like that. Phazon, they're going to use Phazon for their own nefarious purposes, all those things. So like Sylux may actually be a gray type of character, not really evil but not good. Like maybe he's kind of in between. Maybe he is a mistaken type of character. And like there is no, but of course for characters like that, it doesn't matter what Samus represents. They're going to be the opposite because they probably want to have all the power to themselves, and it's probably gone to their head. But I could definitely see them possibly being written as more like a gray type of character. Maybe by the end of this story, they may turn good. They may turn to the good side, and they may not be the main villain. It's hard to say. Top left image looks new to you. Oh, this one right here? I could have sworn we saw this in the trailer too. I think didn't we see these guys in the trailer? Let's take a look. You meant the right. Oh my gosh. Well, geez. Can't get any more wrong than that. Oh, you mean this one, right? Just a view of the ice level? Maybe. Let's see. Okay, they start showing the ice over here. Let's see. Yeah, that's not new. Okay, so you see Samus here. The wolves. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Almost 20 wolves are surrounding you here. Wow. Yeah, you might be right, guys. You might be right. That might be a new picture, even though we can't really see it very well. I love this right here. It looks really good. I'm trying to see if there's any indication that is shown somewhere else. I don't think so. Nope. Yes, I think this is just like a probably a picture of the area when you enter it, maybe for the first time. They show you like the rocks and the the glowing of the area around it and everything. Yeah, amiibo. So yeah, it looks like you said they put a lot of thought into the design of Silux. So yeah, I don't know. This is also a Metroid Prime game too. It's hard to say how much in-depth detail they'll go into the story of Silux, but I'm really hoping they do a lot of, at the very least, scan logs and lore, to fill in the gaps if needed. So I'm very interested. Like for sure, when I play this game, I'm gonna be reading all the scan lore, especially about Silux. I want to know everything about him because he's a very, very interesting character because we don't know much about him. But when we read about how possibly Silux has a mental connection with Samus, though his true intentions are unknown, article gives away his true origins as possibly a failed attempt from ancient Federation experiments to replicate Samus's abilities. And I remember on my couple podcasts I did with Rule to Review, Rob and Andres Restart and Joey Ferris, I mentioned this in those podcasts that I was hoping that Silux would be connected to Samus in a certain way that had something to do with her abilities. So maybe this is actually the case. And yeah, he would be something like a Dark Samus, but like he's actually a real person who can talk and everything and has like a backstory and everything. Yeah, it would be cool if Silux is encountered several times in the game, like Dark Samus in Prime 2. So, yeah, it's a good question, though, right? I wonder if... We're just speculating. I wonder if Silux... How they got... If this is true... I wonder if they got part of Silux's abilities from possibly some like leftover remnants of Dark Samus, maybe. It's hard to say. Again, with sci-fi, you can explain away all those things. Plus, we know that even from the trailers, Nintendo themselves said that this is a game about time. So if time travel is a thing, then guess what that leaves open? That leaves Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3's timeline to be wide open to be traveled to for someone to do something, to get something they need, a Metroid, Phazon, what have you. If they can actually travel back in time to get Phazon from somewhere and use a particle of Phazon to create Silux or give him special powers or anything really. It doesn't even have to be Phazon, but like just using time travel can open up pretty much endless possibilities for them to use something from Samus from the past without us ever seeing it in the games, because once you go back in time to change the future, you won't see it until that person actually goes back in time to do that for the first time. Then it becomes a paradox. But like usually in sci-fi stories, if it's a time travel thing, somebody eventually has to do that thing for the first time, and then it becomes the paradox of the time loop that needs to be repeated and over and over and over again, like Back to the Future and other sci-fi stuff that have done that. So we don't know. Apparently, Silux stole his suit and abilities from the Federation, yet he suffered failed experiments attempting to replicate Samus' abilities. Well, we don't know that for sure, though. Is that a fact? Skills for kills? Or is that just speculation that he stole a suit from the Federation? But both things could be true, actually. They go back in time, so Federation Force never happened. Yeah, exactly. Both things could be true. Like he could be using the suit they gave him if that's the case, and steal it. He could be a disgruntled employee, you know what I mean? Like he's upset about the experiment, so he's taking the suit for himself, blah blah blah. All those things could be true. I wonder if all those blue portals we keep seeing in the trailers and gameplay allow us to make time jumps in the areas they appear in. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But yeah, that is basically the all the information, guys. So how about we open it up for some questions? Do you have any questions? Can I repeat this? Yeah, loop. Tag me in the chat for your questions. Let's go ahead and start doing some Q&A here before it gets too late. The lore and hunters confirmed it? Oh, okay. Yeah, like I was saying, both things could be true, guys. Like, if you are gonna be used for experiments and they test a suit on you, it would make sense that you would want to steal that for yourself because you want to use it for something else. And then especially if you have the ability to go back in time, you could then access that suit really easily, especially if they destroyed it, for example. He would then go steal it from the Federation. Maybe that's the part in the beginning of the game that they show. Maybe that's why he's there. Maybe he's stealing the suit too. I mean, stealing all those things happen. Who knows? It's hard to say. With time travel, anything's possible. Okay, what story scenario do you not want to happen? I don't know. What story scenario do I not want to happen? I haven't really thought about it. I've said it before. The only thing I think that would really like screw up a Metroid story is if Nintendo does a crossover. So I would not want them to cross over a Metroid game story with like Star Fox or F-Zero. I think that would degrade and cheapen Samus's more dark and serious type of story. I think it would make it totally screwed up. So any crossovers, I'm totally against. I think Metroid should stay on its own. Keep your crossovers for Smash Brothers. Claudio Sanchez, what do you think the bigger graphical differences between the versions would be? Texture quality, lighting effects, and resolution. Those are actually already the and frame rate. Yeah, 120 frames. That's actually already been noticed. We talked about it in a previous graphics comparison video. The textures, not all the textures, but some of the textures, like in the environments, definitely have been improved for the Switch 2 version. It looks like they have higher resolution assets. And Switch 1 version is running lower quality assets, and it's running a lower quality texture filtering as well. The Switch 2 has a very, very low quality texture filtering ability on its GPU. Switch 1, I'm sorry if I said Switch 2. Switch 1 has a very low quality texture filtering. I think it's like bilinear texture filtering. And the Switch 2 has a much, much higher texture filtering. So for Switch 2, you'll see higher quality detailed textures in the backgrounds. Very clean, pristine looking stuff because it's running at 4K, 60 frames, or 1080p 120 frames. And you will see, and we did notice some better lighting effects in the Switch 2 version in the treehouse footage. I can pull that up real quick. Because it looked like the Switch 2 version has had some better lighting effects than Switch 1. Even though that could just be an updated version, it could be the same. We don't know 100%, but like when the original trailer came out, it was noticed. I'll show you where too. I will show you. This is a not real time, 60 frames per second cutscene. I think they're using in-game models, but it's pre-rendered, right? But that's not what I'm talking about. This part right here when she goes into the morph ball. Okay, let me see. Okay. So I do think there's better lighting on the walls. It's very subtle. Better red lighting. Just lighting in general, like more they're probably using a slightly better GI solution, like global illumination, than the Switch 1 version. Let me see if I can get the original trailer up really quick. Metroid Prime 4 debut trailer. Yeah. This is on the Switch 1. And that glorious 1080p. Of course, it's going to look more blurry, but yeah, here's that same part. Let's see if I go to the other trailer. See this? Or this is the treehouse footage. Let's see if I can pull this out. Let's see. It's hard to tell. It definitely looks cleaner and more defined on Switch 2. See if I can pull this out a little farther back the other way. All right, see this right here? Right there. Again, though, this might just be an old build of the game, and maybe this has that lighting included on the Switch 1 version as well now. But this is definitely not as good as Switch 2. The lighting is not as good here. See this? Ooh. Let me see if I can notice any other differences here. Yeah, textures. Obviously, it looks more blurry on Switch 1, but like the overall geometry is going to be the same because it's the same game. Switch 1, Switch 2. The lighting on the creatures, totally different. These are not even. They don't even have the highlights on them. The lights on their bodies. Yeah, this has definitely been upgraded on Switch 2. You can see that there's more detail just like everywhere here. That. This crate looks more detailed on Switch 2 as well. Again, though, like I said, a lot of this is simply due to the 4K resolution, but definitely the lighting is, like the global illumination and like post-processing lighting is better on Switch 2. Like definitely, for sure. Let's see if we can get a little over here, a little farther. Okay, stop it there. Okay. Okay, stop it there. Yeah, this is like... Go back a little farther. This has been broken here. Interesting. Try to get it more like lined up if I can. Looks like... Yeah, this has been changed on Switch 2. There's more texture here. Oh, more texture here too? Whoa. I'm noticing more things now. Definitely better textures here. See that? The detail's gone on Switch 1. I didn't pay attention to all these little things before. I'm noticing more stuff now. I'm only looking because somebody asked me the differences in the chat, so thank you for that question. Claudio, thank you for the question. Yeah, I'm noticing more stuff here. The ground too. Look, the ground textures have been enhanced on Switch 2. These are flat on Switch 1. Very interesting. Okay, just blew it up. Oh, did you notice that too? Volumetric lighting effects. Or I don't know if these are really volumetric lighting effects. It's more like God Ray kind of stuff. Post-processing. Nothing here on Switch 1. Okay, let's go forward and Switch 1 a little bit. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, definitely the texture filtering is non-existent on Switch 1. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get this detail on Switch 1, guys. Even though that's going to be probably the best looking Switch 1 game for sure. You can definitely see the detail. This has better, yeah, okay. Yeah, that pretty much confirms it, huh? Better GI system. It looks like they have a better pre-baked global illumination system here on some of the parts. This looks like it's part of the actual design of it. Let me see if if the lighting actually changes at all. Looks like it does. So it's not totally pre-baked. It does look like it's real time. I'm trying to see where the light shaft actually disappears. Yeah, it disappears. Okay, good. Yeah, as far as DLSS is concerned, we don't know what they're using. They wouldn't have to use DLSS though, because it's still a Switch 1 game. They could use either just native rendering or something else, but there's nothing. It's definitely possible they could use it though. Yeah, this looks like they did some work here, huh? You may not notice it at first, but the global illumination is definitely better on Switch 2. Okay. This is different. Wow. Yeah. This might have something to do with how blurry the trailer is, but like the detail is so much higher in Switch 2 here. Like everything is way more detailed. Like there's all this stuff. The detail is just like gone. Now, of course, when you first saw this trailer on Switch 1, you're like, without comparing it to the better version, you would still think this is impressive. But obviously, when you see the new version, you see all the detail they can add. All these textures here are gone. They're here on Switch 2. Funny thing, some people were saying the OG trailer looks like an S-Gen Switch 2 game. That just goes to show that Switch 1 didn't really have that many games that looked really that great. And they didn't have any Retro Studios games. That art style. Yeah, this is way better. This is definitely the way to go, is buy it on Switch 2. Like, let's be real. This is so much better. Okay. And this is a good part. Let me see. Did they show this here? Yeah. Yeah, the main difference is this has this has in like letterbox, and this is full screen. Different textures. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is not a graphics comparison stream. But really really cool. That's because what was it? Carlos asked me the question. Yeah. I got carried away there. I love comparing graphics when you can see the differences. It's really fun. Let me go back up. I've missed your questions, guys. Sorry about that. Darth OP, do you think that Silex will turn out to be Solomon Aaron, the long-lost brother of Samus Aran? I don't really think Solomon Aaron even exists at this point. I don't even know if Nintendo really have even acknowledged him. If he has, I haven't heard anything. If they've said anything, I haven't seen anything or any proof or anything like that. So I doubt it. I doubt it. If he is, if they do confirm that, then I'll buy you a cookie, a Metroid cookie. There are Kay says, or you're just, that's not a question. There are 3 signs of the display of Viola. They appear when Nintendo introduces Samus sitting in Viola. I can see it as this. Viola is a master design, but it can also transfer. You mean like transform? Maybe. Cookies, yeah. Darth OP, the lead up to Metroid Prime, the lead up to Metroid Prime 4. What do you say about playing and live streaming through the previous Prime game? Oh yeah, I'm going to be doing that sometime in November. We'll be playing through all 3 games. I'm trying to give Nintendo some time. I'm trying to give them a chance to release the remasters first, but if worse comes to worse, I'll just have to replay the same old ones I've been playing. I'll be playing Metroid Prime Remastered on Switch 2, using the M Classic to upscale it to 4K when the 4K Gamer Pro. Then I'll be playing the emulated versions of Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. At least we'll get to replay the games before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. But definitely, I'll be playing through those games either live or I'll have a pre-recorded thing. We'll do that. Either way, definitely we'll be re-experiencing those before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. I've been holding off on purpose to give Nintendo a chance to release those, but they haven't done it yet. Thanks, Nintendo. That's so cool. Look at that. I love the pirate ships designs, the textures on their ships. Really cool. Metroid Prime 4 Direct next week? I hope so. Is there a rumor of one? I hope there's a Metroid Prime 4 Direct every week. There's been no indication and no rumblings that there's going to be one, so you know. Yeah, I hope they do that. I hope they do one before the holiday season kicks into gear in November. If they don't, then that means we're just not going to get one. And like I said in my reaction video of Metroid Prime 4, the last trailer in September, Nintendo's marketing has not really been there at all for this game yet, guys. Let's just be honest. Someone commented on X and replied to me because I was saying, like, I hope Nintendo starts marketing this game. Because more people should be aware of it. And somebody replied to me saying that, oh, the game's already had an 8-year hype cycle. The game had an 8-year hype cycle already. So no, they don't need to be marketing the game anymore. If you call canceling a game's development in 2019 and restarting it and then being completely silent about it a hype cycle, I hate to break it to you, but I think you're completely wrong. It's made people worry about it. That doesn't get people hyped for the game, though. It's actually made people forget about it, too. Like, a lot of people assumed it was just never coming out. So, there's no hype cycle for this game, really. The hype has been only survived by the fans. Content creators who take an interest in the series, such as myself, others out there on YouTube as well. But we can't do all the work. Nintendo has a multi-million-dollar budget to advertise this game if they wanted to. YouTubers can't do it for them. I can only reach, like tens of thousands of people. I can't reach millions of people like Nintendo can. So no. This game has not had an 8-year hype cycle. This game has had... The hype cycle probably started back in 2024 when they revealed the first trailer for it. Then they went dead silent again for months and months and months. They showed the Treehouse footage. They showed the Switch 2 announcement for it back in April. And that was cool. That was hype. Then they showed a 1 minute and 49-second trailer since April of 2025. So in September, on their September Nintendo Direct, they had a 1 minute and 49-second trailer since April. That's all they've had. And meanwhile, you're getting 2 Kirby Directs from Sakurai. And this last one today was an hour long. So, yeah. This game deserves all the advertising possible, man. It really does. What did I say the other day? Yeah. Nintendo of America tweets this out yesterday. December 1st can't come soon enough. And that was in regards to Marvel Cosmic Invasion coming out on December 1st, being confirmed, which is great. I can't wait to buy this game. Where's that energy for Metroid Prime 4, though? I got almost 500 likes on that comment. Like, yeah, man, like, what is going on here? And this is an indie game. Indie World tweeted this out. December 1st can't come soon enough. 3.6 thousand likes. Joey Ferris, December 4th, you mean, right? Now, I have refrained from making any videos complaining about this kind of stuff because at this point, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't force Nintendo to advertise this game. I'm not going to waste my energy like making a video saying, how dare you not advertise this game or something like that, because as soon as I do make a video like that, they'll announce the Metroid Prime 4 Direct, and they'll announce all their commercials like right after that, probably. This is how those things work. And if they don't, then they don't. But I'm not going to waste my time making a video complaining about something I have no control over. I can be disappointed, though, and I can share my disappointment with comments like this. They technically still have time to advertise the game, guys, but time is running out. There's only 42 days left until the game is released. And if you compare that to Metroid Dread had a 4-month advertising campaign by Nintendo. It started from day one when they announced the game in June of 2021, all the way to release in October of 2021. Every week they had a new diary update for the website for Metroid Dread, new stuff about the game, constant barrage of information week after week after week after week for Metroid Dread until it was released, leading into it being the highest selling Metroid game of all time. Metroid Prime 4, you get a 1 minute and 49-second trailer since April. So May, June, July, August, September, October. So in the last 6 months, Nintendo has given people 1 minute and 49 seconds of footage. And the game is releasing in just over 40 days. So yeah, suffice to say, Nintendo has not advertised this game as of yet anywhere near as close as Metroid Dread, and I am disappointed in that, and I think I have a right to be. If you take a close look, Darth P says, if you take a close look at the pirate ship from the screen, doesn't it look kind of like those small guys you freeze from platforming and also grapple in Super Metroid? Oh yeah. Go. I think you're talking about this part over here, right? Let's see. Cool looking space pirates. Where'd it go? But yeah, those ships basically they look kind of like that. You're right. Why do you think they unlisted the ads? Claudio. It wasn't Carlos. Sorry, I got your name wrong before. Yeah, I think they're just getting them ready to make public. So they uploaded them and they made them unlisted, probably so they could share with certain people that they needed to share with. They could have made them just privated, right? So I don't know. My guess is that they're getting ready to just have them go live soon. So they just made them unlisted. Olivia, you're asking me, you tried to tag me, but you didn't tag me with a 64. Do you think the remasters are coming after Prime 4? I would be excited for 2 and 3 remasters, but isn't the first Prime game like a premium remaster? Remasters like these take a big team. Well, yeah, but we don't know if it's just HD remasters, those wouldn't take as long. But yes, if they're redoing the textures with the same models, because like in Metroid Prime Remastered, they redid all the models and all the textures from scratch, just with the same AI, basically the same exact like skeleton like structure inside the game was still there, but the entire graphical makeup of the game was completely overhauled and remade. If they just redo textures in Metroid Prime 2 and 3, but keep the same models with slight touch-ups here and there, that takes a lot less effort, a lot less time. It all depends on what they're doing for those games. We don't know yet, so those could already be done and ready to go and be released as Shadow dropped next month, or they could come out after Metroid Prime 4 comes out, which doesn't make any sense to me, I would hope they just release them before. I don't even want to, consider them afterwards. Like, I guess, yes. You want to have them in either way, so yeah. But I would prefer them just release them tomorrow. Darth OP, you think the True Blitz will start next week or the week after? Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2 bundle? Wow, yeah. Well, I appreciate your optimism, man. I am not down on Metroid Prime 4 whatsoever. Don't get me wrong. I'm only disappointed in Nintendo's lack of marketing and communication on the game. The game itself, I'm extremely excited for. Welcome, Attack the Backlog. What's up? Yeah, we've been starving out here, right? Right, buddy? Surplex. Superman Day of 63. No, that's definitely not right. It's off. Get it right. Do you plan on playing more Switch 2 games using 4K Gamer Pro and M Classic? Yeah. It depends on the game. Like Fast Racing? The new Fast Racing game looks a lot better with the M Classic if you play on pure resolution mode, because the game has horrible aliasing because they're not using any DLSS upscaling. So with that, on certain instances when the game has really terrible like aliasing and jaggies, M Classic with 4K Gamer Pro works wonders for those. But for games that already use DLSS really well, like Cyberpunk 2077, games like Star Wars Outlaws obviously don't need it. Like, a lot of these games just look so good on their own, and they already use upscaling. You don't need to use these other upscalers. Josu? Do you play Pokemon Legends ZA? Nope, absolutely not. I'm not a Pokemon fan. If you are a Pokemon fan, good on you. The series is not for me. So far my games of the year are Donkey Kong Bonanza, Chronos: The New Dawn. Game is amazing. Amazing game. Like, I just never get tired of playing that game. It's amazing. Yeah, Chronos: The New Dawn, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World is up there. It's really good. I know people have hated on that game. I also am disappointed in Mario Kart World for its lack of content. But the game is really fun, man. Like, I've been having so much fun with that game with friends, like locally. It's great fun. It makes you laugh. Just have a good fun time. Attack of the Backlog. Chronos is your game of the year. I mean, it's amazing. Like, the atmosphere of that game is so good. I bought it twice. I didn't buy it twice. I got it for free on PC for a review copy, and bought it on Switch too. It's worth every penny, man. The game is fantastic. If you guys have any questions about Chronos: The New Dawn, make sure you watch my live stream from last week. I played the new updated graphics patch that it had. 7-hour stream. We got all the way to the hospital. And yeah, judge it for yourself on Switch 2, man. The game is fantastic. Absolutely love that game. Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo is unpredictable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Sir Plex. That's why I'm not going to make a video complaining about the lack of marketing or advertising. If I do make one of those videos, I will wait until after the game is released. Because if they don't do anything else until they release the game and they have nothing else, and all they have is those two 15-second commercials, and that's it, oh man. Then I'll probably make a video saying, what the heck did you do, Nintendo? But I still got some confidence they're going to be marketing the game. I think it may just be a little too late because they're waiting till the last minute to market the game. That's not how you market things. You got to make people aware of it. You got to give them some time to be aware, more so than a couple weeks. The hardcore Metroid Prime fans, me, you, everyone watching, we're buying the game. We know they don't have to convince us. But I am one of those type of people that like to share my joy of gaming, which is why I do content with people. I like to show why things are good and give you my opinions, play games live, do videos, like show like cool things I find. And if a game is being discarded or basically just like not given the attention it deserves, and people don't buy the game or don't even know about the game or don't know why they should buy the game, guys like me will then we'll then show you why the best that we can. But like, I can only do so much. Other people on YouTube can only do so much. You need to have marketing. You need to have an actual business who's selling the game, Nintendo, to actually market the game to people to buy it. Especially for those who've never played Metroid Prime before. You don't even have the original games available to buy. You only have the first game and that's it. So it's already a fail in that aspect right now. In this moment. Nintendo likes to do these like last second Hail Mary stuff where like, okay, here's 2 and 3 and Prime 4 and all the marketing in 2 weeks. It's like, that's nice, but like, why rush it all at once? Why not give some more time? Give people a chance to like get excited for the game who are not really excited about it right now. A lot of people are not really excited about this game who aren't already excited for it because they already are fans of the series. You see, like, for the series to grow, you have to market the game. You can't just let it out there and just like hope the fans will buy it for you. That's not how it should work. You got to like market the game. So, yes, they have time. I just think they're waiting way too long. Yeah, man. Yeah, Surplex, you're 100% right, buddy. You're 100% right. You are 100% right. These 15-second ads, this doesn't convey much about Metroid Prime other than that it's a first-person shooter. You can lock on and shoot things. Like, that's what these commercials convey. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's nice. But, yeah, I don't know, man. To be honest with you, like, Metroid Prime games, they are kind of hard to market, though, when you think about it. Because, like, these games take a while to unlock all the goodness about them. So, like, I don't have to tell you, really. You guys know how Metroid Prime games work. But usually, when you are at the end of the game plays totally different than how it did at the beginning of the game. So how do you market that to millions of people to buy without just showing all the cool gadgets and spoiling all the game for people? That's really hard to do. Now, they actually did that with Metroid Dread, and some people were upset about that. But in the end, it really worked because you were showing people how cool the game was by showing all these abilities from Samus in Metroid Dread. The only thing they didn't spoil was the story between Ravenbeak and Samus, right? So I'm not saying they need to show all the abilities of Samus in Metroid Prime 4, but like they haven't really shown hardly anything though. 15-second commercials is just Samus shooting her beam at a stationary object in the middle of the screen. I hate to break it to you, that's probably not going to do much for people. Oh, that game looks cool. You can shoot stuff. Nice. I think I'll buy Assassin's Creed instead. You know what I mean? Like, they're showing me like ninja moves and everything, but like, it's hard, man. I'm not their marketer. Like, that's why they're actually paying people to supposedly start marketing the game. So yeah, we will wait and see what they do in November for Metroid Prime 4. I hope to goodness that they do market the game decently well and give it its justice, give it its due, and give it a direct, Yeah, a nice solid, I'd take a nice solid 10-minute direct. It doesn't have to be an hour long. It doesn't have to be another 17 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. It can just be a nice, concise 10-minute direct that shows you key things about the game that you should be looking for and what separates it from Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 for fans, and what would give new players the reason to play it. Give maybe a little bit more hints about the story with Silux, like we talked about, without spoiling like the outcome, of course. And marketing the 4K 120 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and 120 frames per second HDR. That's nice. For Nintendo players, those are really nice buzzwords because they haven't experienced much with those types of graphics at that fidelity on Nintendo consoles. So if they're marketing it to Switch 2 players, that could be just 4K 60 frames, beautiful looking graphics. That could be enough. And because it's like a holiday game, even though they're selling it after Black Friday, which is another fail in my opinion, they're still the game still should sell decently well, guys. I just think Nintendo could do way better than what they're doing now, which is basically nothing to market the game. Olivia Maxwell, maybe they could show upgrades and how much the game looks, but give a spoiler warning. They could do that, but they'd have to do it in separate like YouTube videos only. I just don't see them do that. Nintendo usually doesn't ever spoil their games themselves. Attack of the Backlog, thank you for the €5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Surplex is right. Non-fans, I think, still think Metroid Prime is a shooter and expect Call of Duty or Halo. It's not that, but their marketing has been atrocious. Yeah, man. I agree with you. Yep, and it's too late for the Game Awards. So yeah, one thing they could do, since the Game Awards is in early December, the Game Awards comes out, I think, right after Metroid Prime 4 is released. I think it's December 5th, right? That's pound, not euro? Whatever. Sorry. Thanks for the super chat. What they could do it show a bunch of those commercials during the Game Awards for Metroid Prime 4. December 11th? Okay. Yeah, so the week after Metroid Prime 4 comes out, Nintendo could easily, on every break in the Game Awards, they could be showing Metroid Prime 4 commercials, those 15-second commercials. They could do that, and that could give it some buzz. But yeah, not having a presence at the Game Awards at all, like not having the ability to even be nominated, is another blow to the game, I would say. Because then it has to wait till 2026 to have any chance of having nominations, and usually games that come out in December rarely ever win anything at the Game Awards. I think Smash Brothers won something in 2019, but that's Smash Brothers. Like, Metroid Prime is not The Legend of Zelda. Nintendo was able to get away with selling over 20 million copies of Tears of the Kingdom with almost no marketing for the game. Remember that? They showed like a 7-minute like overview trailer with Anuma. Hardly had no commercials for it at all, really, before it came out. It didn't matter because it's Zelda. So Metroid Prime is not Zelda, though. You need to have some kind of something, especially for since the game hasn't had a sequel since 2007. Know what I mean? It's been nearly 20 years. Yep. Yeah, the game it deserves it all, man. It is looking peak. Best. It's looking like the best in the series in terms of graphics and possibly even gameplay mechanics. Looks like it's probably the best, just from what I'm seeing. As far as how good the overall game is, we'll have to wait until my review to know for sure. Because I've talked about before, there's certain aspects of Metroid Prime 1 that I would like to have improved, because the game was like the first of its kind of slow. Still my favorite game of all time, though. But for modern controls and how fast things move these days, and how they've come up with new ways for like sliding, wall jumping, for other first-person shooter games like Titanfall, for example, like Titanfall 2. There's lots of cool stuff they can do with Metroid Prime 4, which is what we've already seen. Some of the air dashing stuff that you can do, you can already tell they have thought of that already. So I'm very curious to see what other movement options you have. Obviously, we got a bike to ride, so it's looking really good in the gameplay front. So yeah, I can't wait to sink my teeth into the game and then play through it all and then review it. Then play through it all again with you guys live on stream and go from there. It's going to be really, really good. It won't hurt your hand like a 10DS screen, stylus would. Yeah, they're using the mouse. Yeah, I'm going to try it on all the control schemes and see how it feels. The mouse mode might not be my preferred way to play. You never know. I haven't played the game yet, so we're going to experience it together for the first time live on the channel on launch day. Like, guaranteed. That's already for sure. We're going to do that. But I'm going to play it all by myself off stream. Like, when you play these games, you don't want to have a camera shining in your face, the lights and everything. For a game like this, I want to sink my teeth into it, fully immerse myself in it, not be distracted. But definitely for the first, like, trying it out together, we'll do that, and then that'll be a night to remember. Then I'll go and play the game and come back with a review, and then we'll play through it together after that again. People are interested, Claudio. Yeah, they are curious about it. If they're asking about it on Reddit, it probably means they're not getting enough information from Nintendo. If they got to ask about it, then Nintendo's not doing their job. You know what I mean? Like if they need to ask people like how's Metroid Prime 2? How's 3? Were the other games good? I don't know. Gee, I wonder how that could be fixed. Nintendo. Yeah, I think Prime 4 is going to sell well. How well? I just don't know at this point. Just because of the things I've already said. The game, though, itself, guys, can't wait to play it. Most anticipated game of all time for me. I just want to get in and play it. Get in there and start exploring, doing everything the game wants me to do. I'm very curious to see the end game for Metroid Prime 4. It almost gives me chills just thinking about it. Like, how is Samus going to look at the end? What are all the abilities you're going to have? What kind of movement abilities you're going to have? How's the bike going to be? How's your gunship going to be? Like, wow, there's so many questions and like anticipation for that stuff. Because as you know, like Metroid Prime 2, at the very end of the game, like the last, even though people hate the collectathon stuff, getting all the keys, I think that's really fun because it gives you the opportunity to use all of Samus's abilities. You can go through all the Dark World without taking any damage, without having any movement issues at all, because you have all your abilities unlocked. You have the light suit that allows you to just like walk through everything, no problem. And it looks cool. And you have the screw attack. You have all the different abilities there at the end. Totally different gameplay experience versus the constrained, limited experience in the beginning of Metroid Prime 2. So I'm very, very curious to see, since it already looks a lot more freeing in Metroid Prime 4 early on, I'm very curious to see what you can do at the end in Metroid Prime 4. Wow. Like do you have like speed boost? Do you have air dash? Do you have sliding? Do you have wall bouncing, wall jumping? Do you have like wall dashing? Like what do you have? I'm sure it's going to be really, really cool to find all that out. How's the music going to be on some of these areas? Like, man, so many cool things. It'd be really cool too. Like we saw some of those caves with Viola going in there. Surplex, you're saying that is a good idea. I wonder if you will need to use Viola, the bike, to actually ride on some of the cave embankments to get into like certain areas, like deeper into those caves. I wonder. I also wonder how much exploring will they let you do with the bike. How far can you take it? All good questions. Yeah, the snowy area. I'm sure they're going to have some song there that's going to be epic sounding. Please don't just remaster Phandrana Drift's music again. Give us a new song. Yes, it's a great song, but if they just redo that song again, that's kind of a cop out. I hope they have a brand new song for the snow areas. But what they could do, which I wouldn't be opposed to, and they did this in Metroid Prime 2 in Torvus Bog. They gave you the very beautiful main theme of Torvus Bog, but they did give you a remixed version of the Super Metroid theme for the Torvus Bog underground subterranean level, which was the underground underground Brinstar from Super Metroid? Not was it Brinstar? I think so. Like the underground area of that area, where it was lava. Or not lava. That was the other area. You know what I'm talking about. The remix track from in Metroid Prime 2. They could do that in Metroid Prime 4. Like have a homage, like remix track of Phendrana Drifts in one area that you find. But they still need to have an original song that is stands up on its own, I would say. Just remixing and remaking all the other songs that we already know. I don't think is what Metroid Prime is all about. They need to give you those new awesome tracks too. But yeah, you guys have any more questions before we call it a night? Thank you all for coming out. We had a lot to cover. Way too much to do a video for. I could have done a standalone video on that stuff, but I feel like if I'm going to rush, if I need to rush the information to make the video short, because usually what I do. You asked twice, Tommy Tycoon, about what? Did I miss you? I don't see any questions from you. Red Soil Brinstar, yeah. Oh, the file size? What about the file size, Tommy? 31 gigabytes? If you didn't tag me, I'm not going to see you. Oh, okay, there it is. What do you think about the file size, 31 gigabytes? I think it's fine. Sorry I missed your question. Not intentional. 31 gigabytes. Yeah, that is pretty decently big, huh? Did you know that Star Wars Outlaws is only 19 gigabytes? And Chronos: The New Dawn is only 17 gigabytes. So yeah, this game is huge, guys. I think they're giving you true to life 4K textures. That's probably why the file size is so big. Or they're just giving you like really high fidelity textures with a lot of data, uncompressed or something. It's hard to say. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. I think we'll call it there for tonight. Thank you for engaging and hitting the like button for me. We did get over 100 likes. I appreciate that. We will be back for more live streams. I do like to live stream. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys and all your support, of course, and all the years of support on the channel. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a good time doing it. And I appreciate you guys and look forward to more Metroid Prime 4 content and the game soon. We will be playing the original 3 games leading up to Metroid Prime 4, so look forward to that. I'll be announcing that ahead of time, of course. We'll be playing those live together. So yeah, good stuff, guys. Have a good rest of your evening, and I'll see you soon. Take care.